Netflix and MVP just put on one of the biggest MMA events of the year, ushering in a new era of professional mixed martial arts and putting some pressure on the UFC with their first ever mixed martial arts card. Headlined by Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano. We'll be going over it from the main card, bottom to the top. Or I guess we'll go top to bottom today. And then we'll go over the Fight Night Allen versus Costa and the bits and pieces that I watched from it. Because that was also a good fight. That was also a good card. So we'll start with my overall thoughts on the event and the production around it. I'm a little bit sick, so just remember that. I thought it was very boxing like. Every single bout had like three promos. So they had the big fight promo and then the solo promos. The way they kind of walked to the ring felt very boxing like. The broadcast felt boxing like. Even the score bug, like where it just felt very boxing like. And the biggest thing for me was the ring announcer. I thought he was great, Big Mo. I know he does boxing, but he would take really long to get into the fighters. Um, the camera would cut away um, when the fighters go like as the name goes. The camera would cut away, and I'm nitpicking. But another thing was the way that they described the fight kits. It was like red trunks, wearing the red trunks and gold trim. That's a boxing thing. And I'm nitpicking, and I'm sure everything else with this event was fine. It was perfectly fine. It was good. I thought the look was interesting. The cage was really tall. It was small but really tall. Um, but aside from that, like the more that MVP continues to put on these shows, the better it's going to be. And I felt like this was a really good card. It was really action packed. So we'll start with Big Robelis de Spain versus Junior Dos Santos. I had Big Row by knockout. I didn't know if it was going to be in the first, second, or third, but I knew it was going to come early in a round because if JDS got him down, I don't know if Big Row was getting up. Um, but Big Row was kind of just sitting there with his head down, picking his shots. He was throwing some bombs. Um, and JDS has a bit of a chin on him because a lot of dudes are going out to that stuff. A lot of dudes are going out with that. Um, Big Row picked him apart and vicious knockout. Robelis Spain should be in the UFC right now. Um, he's a knockout artist, and I know he lost to Waldo, but Waldo's a legit heavyweight. Could be fighting for a belt because he actually did beat Volkov, anyways. Um, but he's a legit heavyweight. Should be in the UFC. This was a good showing from even against old JDS, but this was a good showing for Big Row. Um, and I know he lost to Austin Lane, but like it was a fluke. It was a fluke. So Big Row, go back to the UFC. Hopefully Dana will take him back. JDS, it's time to drop the gloves, brother. It's time to put the gloves down. Um, for this fight, just watched it. Parnasse, what's his first name? Oh my god, this is so embarrassing. What's his first name? Um, Freaking Pete Carroll from the Ariel Helwani show loves Parnasse. He's like a big prospect coming out of France. And he was filthy. He was filthy. He was just laying bombs. A lot of strikers say once you go to the body, or once I go to the body, it's over. Josh Van said it last week. Paranasse went to the body this week. First round knockout. Is that K Cross? Has that? I don't. Can you guys take a look? Is that Cross there? That looks like a white Austin Lane to me. Anyways, hold on. Excuse me while I drink my Gatorade. All right. Um, yeah, all around good fight from Paranasse. Should have his eyes set on the UFC. I think he was in what was he in? What was he in? What was he in? What was he in? Octagon? I think he's the Octagon champion or two belt champion in Octagon. I'll have to go back and look, but he's a stud, man. He's a stud. Get him in the lightweight division. Oh, did I say I was gonna go from the top to bottom? I went from bottom to top. Oh my god, that's so embarrassing. That's so embarrassing. Anyways, let's get into the big fights. Francis Ngannou. I'm not a Francis guy. Um, but he looked like he was one of the best heavyweights in the world. Like it looked like Felipe Lins was locked in the cage with Francis Ngannou and was just there to collect a paycheck. And that's what it was. That's what it was. Um, Felipe kind of put on a bit of a fight, but not really. Um, Francis just put his lights out. First round knockout. I think everyone expected that. Um, this is another heavyweight that should be in the UFC. Or if you're not in the UFC, let's see you fight Roelis. Let's see Ngannou versus Roelis in MVP MMA for the MVP belt. Why not? Why not? I'm sure they're getting paid really well. I think that'd be a great fight. Um, but there could be another MVP belt. I didn't know this until after, because we were going back and forth between different fights. Um, Francis Ngannou calls out Jon Jones and says, "Let's get in the octagon, man. I'm the best heavyweight in the world." And Jon Jones was sitting there like, I'd actually kill you," which you would. But that'd be a good fight to have. That would be a massive fight for MVP to make. And I'm wondering, I'm sitting here thinking, Jon Jones versus Francis Ngannou, how much more money would that make MVP? And for how much more money would it cost them than that main event between Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano? Might be worth it. Might be worth it. For Felipe Lins, I don't know what MVP's intentions are, but I mean, if he wants to stick around heavyweight, I'd probably just retire. Like I think he's been out of the sport for a while. Came back to get knocked out. Um, Moving on to Nate and Platinum Mike. I was super excited for this fight. I had Platinum Mike by knockout. 5 rounds is a long time for these fellas, especially with all of Nate's like scar tissue. Um, Mike Perry is the king of violence. He's the king of violence, as Conor McGregor said. Um, he was piecing them up for 2 rounds. Corner stopped it. Nate's corner stopped it, and that's a respectable way to go. It didn't look like Nate Diaz had any more gas in the tank, and we know Nate to be a thug. We know him to go out there and thug around, and I think for his own safety, his corner kind of said, "Nah, let's pull out," and that was the right thing to do. It was out of Nate's hands. Corner did it. Mike Perry goes on the mic. He says, "Jake Paul, why don't we do MMA?" Jake Paul's like, "You know what? Hell yeah, let's do it." And all of a sudden, Ariel Helwani, star of the show tonight, um, brings in Nate Diaz, and Nate Diaz starts pointing at Diaz. He's like, "Mike Owen, your fucking ass. Jake Owen, your fucking ass. And Ariel Owen, your fucking ass." And it was just pointing dudes out and saying, "I want your fucking ass." Um, and that was the way she went. Platinum Mike, like again, the like Platinum Mike's a good fighter, and it sounds like he wants to stick around in MMA. Obviously being the face of bare knuckle. Um, it'd be pretty interesting to see if he kind of shies away from bare knuckle and gets into MMA again. If he wants to be in MVP MMA, or maybe Dana makes a call. If Conor McGregor loses to Max Holloway, which we'll get to in another video coming out tomorrow, um, if Conor McGregor loses to Max Holloway, why not do McGregor and Mike Perry in the UFC? Make it happen. For Nate, I thought he should have left the gloves in the octagon. I thought he should have done the same thing as JDS and Felipe Lins. But instead he's like, "I want your ass." So it sounds like Nate's got more in the tank. Sounds like he's got more in the tank. And for the main event, Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano. I watched Ronda Rousey when I was younger. I never got Gina Carano. I was a tadpole last time Gina fought, but beautiful lady. Looks fantastic for 44 and being 240 pounds over a year ago. Ronda Rousey has no respect for the fans. Just oh wow, guys, I'm really sick. Oh wow, I got something in my throat. I got something in my throat. But Ronda, no respect for the fans. Went straight for a takedown on Gina. Didn't even let Gina get a couple jabs in. Took her down, put her in an armbar, and it was lights out in 15 seconds. 15 seconds. People didn't even stick around for the interview after. It felt very boxing like. That's another thing. Like people didn't stick around for the end. Um, but Ronda sounds like she's done in mixed martial arts. That was her way to go out on top on a win. She was on a 2-fight losing skid coming into this. She wanted to win over one of the most popular women's MMA fighters ever, and wants to make some babies. She wants to make some babies. So, what can I say to that? As for Gina, though, sounded like Gina left the door open. She's like, man, like I really want to throw some punches. I really wanted to hit her in the post fight. Didn't get any punches in, and she's like, man, like I need to be mixed in there with a striker. But I don't know. I don't know who they can find that Gina would be able to stand on the feet with. It'd be interesting to see Gina get back in there. It'd be real interesting. Um, but I feel like any competent mixed martial artist would just see what Ronda did and try and take her down. I don't know. If I were to rate this, I'd give it an 8 out of 10 card. 8 out of 10 card. Every fight was a finish, in an early finish. And as for the production, like it very boxing like, but it was good. It was good. I would watch again, and I think they should continue this. How about we move on to the UFC? So I watched these last two fights, but Malcolm Wallmaker gets fraud checked again. I know Juan Diaz. I think he's 15-1, right? 15-1-1, soon to be 16-1-1. He's a beast. I guess he subbed him. Um, but this is where I started watching, and I was watching with my boys because we were watching the Habs game and obviously Netflix MMA. But they weren't super familiar with Doohoo Choi. And I was like, fellas, he's a thug. Doohoo Choi goes down and he walks motherfuckers down. He gets chinned, but he just eats it. And that's what happened. Doohoo Choi got pieced up in the first round. Got pieced up. And and I knew because I've seen Doohoo fight before. I was like, he's got an excellent chin. And I think what happened with Daniel Santos was I'm giving you everything I got. I'm emptying the tank. And I've got nothing to show for it other than a bloody nose. And it was very evident that's what happened in the second round. Because he started off hot coming out. And Doohoo Choi, gritty vet, and just put the brakes on him. He knocked him out, went to the body. That was another guy. Went to the body, and that was it. Apparently, Daniel Santos was screaming in agony on the ground in the corner. Hurt his rib. Dude, Choi, I wonder if he gets a shot at the rankings in his next fight. He's a little bit older, but man, is he ever exciting? If Dana ever needs an opener to a pay-per-view, dude, Choi will always go out there and scrap. He will always go out there and scrap, and he's got a whole country behind him. He's a really good asset to the UFC. He's a real good asset. He's underrated. UFC Hall of Famer. Don't forget, dude, Choi. Going into the main event, I had Arnold Allen. I didn't really know what it was going to be by, but he ended up 50-45, and I can never say his name. Melquizael. What did DC call him? Melky Zale. We'll call him Melky. We just call him Coster the Dalmatian. But Arnold Allen looks legit, man. I'm a huge Arnold Allen guy. He beat Mavzar. He won 3 rounds with Jean Silva, who nobody ever does. Lost to Max Holloway. Like, he's a legit guy. And putting Melky in there, who just made his way into the rankings, it's tough. It's tough. But Arnold 50-45s him, calls out Mavzar, wants the belt. I think he probably needs one more win, then fights whoever has the belt. We could see Arnold Allen be champion. The pride of Montreal. The pride of Montreal. Hold on. I'm Canadian. Welcome home, Arnold. Um, Anyways, for Melky, I don't know what's next. Like, That was a tough fight. That was a tough fight for him, but he looked like he belonged. Um, does he fight up again? Maybe Lerone? Maybe Lerone? Maybe one of these guys fights Lerone Murphy? Um, yeah, that was it for tonight. Aside from Dana White announcing Conor McGregor, which will be in the next video, so make sure to like and subscribe. Um, and then we'll break down the Conor McGregor International Fight Week card in the morning. All right, peace out.